Detroit, 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 Detroit is different. Detroit is different. Detroit, Detroit, different. Detroit is different. Detroit is different.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studio. And in studio, I have somebody that's in this world, but even far beyond just this world. And when I say this world, is what we call now content creation. But before it was content creation, it was communications. And before that, it was just like, getting the word out of something. You know what I'm saying? It was at one point in time, I assume somebody walking through a town with a bell, or really our people, African drummers and things like that. But communications, how you connect to people. It's a part of the marketing suite, which the marketing suite is multiple things. You got public relations, you got publicity, you got advertising, you got promotions, and all of these things come together. And you usually think to yourself, how do I connect to people? Because I got something that people want to connect to. So it's your church, it's your business, it's the songs that you got, the movie you got, the idea, the book that you want to come out. All of that stuff across the board, experience working with some of the people that you beloved in all of those forms, and many, many more. And you didn't know that you need to meet her, which you already technically should be connected. Pam Perry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Kari. How are you?
All is well. All is well. Mark's in studio too. So if you know Pam, you kind of already know Mark, but he's to the side. He's going to be in the hot seat eventually. But right now, we got Pam Perry. And representing already like a golden day. So you was feeling the flavor. I love it. It's still a cold season, but you are welcome in that sunshine.
Thank you. Thank you. Detroit is different. I'm so glad to finally be here. I have referred so many clients here. Allison Vaughn, she was here. Just a lot of different people. Yeah. So thanks for having me. Cedric McDougal.
Yeah. Cedric with the, what's that, glamping. It's the glamorous camping experience.
Right. You know and Drake. That's my boy. Yes.
Drake Pfeiffer, that is my homie.
Yes.
One of my closest.
Yes.
Always.
We went to church together.
For real? Ain't that something?
Reverend Jordan in Corinthians. Shout out to him.
Okay.
May he rest in peace. He was the one that brought us up.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Jordan, if you guys didn't know, though Hamtramck is the most diverse place there is in America for the longest of time. And I definitely knew Pastor Jordan more so through Mrs. Crenshaw. Shout out to the Crenshaws.
Okay. Did you know Kim Jordan? She's a musician. So she played that keyboard, and she was a music director for Gil Scott-Heron for many, many years.
Okay. I did not get that direct connection. It was more so really like who was the other people? It was
Jenny Collins sang for Roberta Flack, Janet Williams, the opera singer over in Germany. I mean, so a lot of musical people came out of there, because I know that was kind of like your first love too.
The main person, I guess, music would have been, rest in peace to my late godmother, Orthea Barnes.
And she
would do different things with she'd do different things with Pastor Jordan. And just Pastor Jordan was cool as ever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, Detroit is just a musical city. I mean, we got Motown. I mean, it's like that's just us.
Definitely. But I was like, hey, like I always tell people, I am back row of a choir. If you got, I am the back row. I'm like,
I'm gonna promote them. That's what I'll do. Okay, I'll promote you. I won't be singing.
Yes, definitely. So, these connections are always starting. You kind of already in this world of it. I always start with you and your family roots. How did y'all get? How many generations deep to Detroit? How y'all make y'all way to Detroit?
You know, it's funny that it's Black History Month. And so one of the things that our family did is that they talked about the Great Migration. So everybody basically in Detroit, Chicago, I think they said the Great Migration was to Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, in Ohio cities and things like that, Cleveland. And a lot of my family came from Florida, came up north to leave the Jim Crow South, to leave the KKK, to better things up north, and primarily was to work in the auto plants.
Okay.
And so that's where a lot of them came from. They came from Florida, Southern Florida, Lake City, Florida. A lot of them are still in Miami area. But we came up north to go to work in these plants and to have a what do you call it, a middle class life.
Definitely.
Coney Gardens is where they ended up.
Oh, we picking up there too. It's been a lot of Coney Gardens energy around here recently.
Yes.
But in it, the migration patterns is uplifted in almost all of these interviews with Black folks, especially. But a lot of the roots go railroad lines. So that's why so many Black folks from Alabama and Georgia here
Yes.
in Detroit, Florida, in those coastal states, so like Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. A lot of them usually end up in like New York or New Jersey and things like that. So I'd only guess that you probably got some fam East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Do. We
Yeah.
do.
So
And then basically, and this is probably most Black, I can only trace back to my great grandmother,
mhm.
Mariah.
Okay.
And that's all I know. I don't know who her mother was. And definitely, so it's only basically, 3 generations back
Okay.
that I know.
All right. So, and then you mentioned historic community as it's been uplifted many a times, and every time because she gonna, like digitally, she gonna be like, "What you doing, guy?" But the great Sidney James, always uplifting. Coney Gardens. Coney Gardens is one of the communities where outside of Black Bottom, Black people could own homes.
Yes.
One of the first communities like that throughout the city of Detroit, and the relationships of so many. Very, how do I even put it? Historic, just mix of the creativity, the families over there. Between Aaron Foley talking about his aunt that was the fashion designer for the Stars and all of this stuff to like so many other people, and a lot of that community, even to this day, things are different, but the families, they know one another there.
They do. They do. And one of the main things too is that the Persian area. So when my parents were going to Persian, it was mostly white people there. And so when I go through their yearbook, and I went to Cass, so I didn't go to Persian, but, mostly by the time I graduated, it was like all Black people. So for them to like, y'all went to school with a lot of white people.
Very
They were
much
like,
so.
that's what was happening then. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
So the Doughboys.
Yeah, the Doughboys, and I mean even the traditions of Pershing. I mean, right now it's like I was actually at a JV basketball game over there a couple weeks back. Yeah,
Okay.
yep, and like I guess Johnny that now is one of those partners of the Joe Louis Southern Kitchen. So definitely from that neighborhood as well, and many others, many others. But always great to now see Am Filler got a street named after him over there too. So
Yeah.
others, that community, that creativity. What do you remember about the community coming up? What was it like? What did it feel like for you?
It was, coming up, I remember having a choice early on whether you're going to be bussed. So I don't know if you remember busing. I was like, what's the busing about? It's like, so the Black people can go to school with the white people and the white people can go to school with the Black people. I said, oh, I elect not to do that. I'm going to go to my school. So what I remember is going to Nolan and how many Middle Eastern people there were there. Chaldeans, so much so that they had to have different rooms for the languages because they couldn't even speak English. Now that was just like mind-boggling. I said, you come from another country, you can't even speak English. Why is that? So I actually ended up friends with some of them, and they were just telling me that where they came from. It was bombing, it was horrible, and I was like, that was just unbelievable to me. It was like we're kind of like Black people living in middle class, and then I'm going to school with all these Middle Eastern people, Chaldeans and things like that. And we ended up being friends, a lot of us being friends and learning about their journey. So that's what I kind of remember, how it was quote unquote mixed from that standpoint. Then going to Cass, that whole part of living from the east side, northeast side, Coney Gardens, and then going to school with kids that maybe are from Palmer Woods or different areas, and how that was like a melting pot of all of the different types of Black people from all over the city. And that was really fun. Getting on that Hamilton bus every day, going to school.
Okay, the good old Hamilton definitely had some journeys over that way. But and you speak of that community as we even shared in the church. Corinthians is in Hamtramck, but
the suburb of Detroit.
It's inside Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Detroit has it's so Detroit. It got 2 cities in it, Hamtramck and Highland Park. And Hamtramck is definitely known more, I think, historically as a Polish space, but now very diverse. It's one of the, I think it may be like one of the few places in America that you could probably get like Polish sausage, some Mongolian chicken, and
A burrito.
A burrito. I mean, right now it is so many.
And it's Romanian too. A lot of Romanians are there.
It's a place that you gotta go and see it and connect with it.
It's different. It is
and just like kind of in that culture, and then Cass Tech, we've definitely know of the technicians and what that was. What was your experience like at Cass? As you already kind of uplifted it.
Yeah. The thing about Cass is that you feel like you're going to this school where, quote unquote, the smart kids went. So we take this bus and we go in, and the first time I ever saw prostitutes and people like homeless people on the street, I'm like, we're near Cass Corridor. Why would they put this school where the quote unquote smart kids, the kids that are kind of like geeky, or the kids that really, I won't say we didn't really know how to fight. You know what I'm saying? We were like, and then we're like in the toughest neighborhood in the city. I'm like, okay, this is how we grow up here. And I just remember just being there, going to work, because at that time I was on co-op. I go to work downtown, working in the Renaissance Center when it first opened.
Okay.
That was a big deal. In the Ren Center, working in the Ren Center. So now I'm dating myself, right? So the Ren Center was there, and then leaving there and then going to Wayne State, which is kind of still in the same area, and then working at the Detroit Free Press, which is all in the same area. So I kind of look like I went to Cass, worked in the Renaissance Center, went to Wayne State, and working at the Free Press. So it was all in that downtown area. So that's what I kind of remember Cass taught me about downtown, because I didn't live downtown, right? I lived in Conant Gardens. So I got really used to having my footing downtown, Wayne State, Renaissance, Free Press, that kind of thing.
Okay, and you touched on something else that I definitely, not as many stories, and one that I'm definitely going to uplift. He may get this just with the network of it, but I definitely know that Pastor Oscar King was one of the few developers, Black developers, that was working on the Renaissance Center. So in a lot of the discussions that have been taking place, really more so at council table last year about the design of it and never necessarily being welcoming.
Yeah.
It's a context of truth for that. But like a lot of things, it's like you got to kind of get to what's happening in the reasoning behind the Renaissance Center and how it comes to life and everything.
Yeah.
But of that is one of the stories that I definitely remember in the opening of prestigious mall-like atmosphere of these different shops and stores inside the Renaissance Center. They say like one of Tommy Hearn's big fights is at the Renaissance Center, all these different things like in the start of the Renaissance Center history. What was it like witnessing and kind of being in that space as it was activating?
So one of the things about Oscar King, I met him when he went for the cable contract for the city of Detroit.
Wow.
And obviously Barton won.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Even more reason why Mr. King, I need you here, Pastor. Okay.
And so I met really Helen and Oscar at the same time because they were in partnership together to go for that cable contract.
Okay, and also, something
Helen
else
Love.
We're going to talk about. Helen Love is, she's like
my
auntie, godmama for me, you, Misha.
My mentor.
And as last time when I was talking to her, I was like, that's my OG.
Yeah.
And they're
so
like,
one of the things I remember about the Renaissance Center, so it was so brand new. And so you're walking around and they have all these new stores. It's Casual Corners, Ganto's, Limited. And I had like jobs at all of them because I would just feel so bold going to Cass. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is like some nice places to work. And I'll just walk up there and say, I'd like to work there. And I worked at a lot of those on the weekend.
Okay.
And then I wanted to go into advertising. So when I was going to Wayne State, I was like, but before I really get into advertising and public relations, let me kind of figure out if I really like it. So again, I took my briefcase over to the Renaissance Center. I'm just going to go floor to floor, door to door.
Wow.
With the yellow pages about all the ad agencies and PR agencies. And I went from, hey, I'm a student at Wayne State. I majored in advertising PR. Do you have a job for me? Basically, that's kind of like my spiel. And the last place I went, I think to like 6 places, had my little Navy suit on and the little bow tie and ribbon and all this kind of stuff. And the person says, can you answer the phone? I said, yeah. She says, good, because our receptionist just quit.
Wow.
And you can sit right here and answer the phone. And that's how I stayed there, and I actually won internships and
Mm.
things like that working for, like, larger ad agencies, but yeah, that's what I remember because it was so brand new, and they were looking for people to really work there,
Mm.
and I had 2 jobs. I worked for the ad agency when I was there, all 4 years at Wayne State, and on the weekends, I worked at all of those retail stores. That's how I
Wow.
had my play money and spending money on fashions and stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
yeah.
If you definitely want to buy some clothes at the place where you're working. You're not necessarily working
Got that
at
discount.
not working at the place.
Right,
But,
right.
You
Yeah.
know, things it may take a couple.
Everybody else was at Northland, but I was at the
Mhm.
Rinse In. So
Okay.
it was like,
Okay.
I was at the cool new place.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So a couple different things that are often uplifted as, people be like, you be talking during your interviews. I like to contextualize Detroit in these discussions. So you speak of the ad agencies, and I've talked about this before that Detroit plays a very pivotal role in a lot of what becomes the marketing suite that I just introduced and I just spoke of at the beginning of this because of the automotive industry. Right now, I think more so like in what I would say like pop culture history, like you all can probably look at like the Mad Men series that was on AMC, and it's really kind of showing a lens of those ad men at the time. But the big four at the time played a very key role in what develops the standard of advertising, which provides also Detroit with like many of these studios where commercials are shot, and also car photography takes place. You guys can go into the Skillman branch downtown, and really the whole arc of a lot of the design of a lot of like the Oldsmobiles, Buicks, and things like that, all trying to take place. So it exists here, and even in Black advertising, like Global Hue and minds behind organizations like that grow are given opportunities. So Detroit has access to some of those opportunities where a lot of places definitely necessarily wouldn't have. What was it about advertising that said you wanted to connect there? Just even leading into it.
Yeah, I like communications, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted to land. So journalism was the overall thing, but then within it, they had this thing called advertising public relations. Reverend Jordan was a person that says, you going to do PR for Jesus, because I was always promoting. I would promote the
Hilarious.
flyers. I would promote the programs that we have, plays or whatever. And so I love promoting and actually doing that sort of thing. And even when I was younger and we were doing things in the church, I would promote our fashion shows.
Okay.
I'll be the person that would gather the people. And he says, well, you're going to do PR. So I said, well, before I really like invest a whole lot of time and money in this field, let me see if I like it. So that was the thing. I basically, it was always a natural thing of me promoting, whether it was a magazine or if it was a program, just gathering people there to let other people know about it. Books, really the main thing about me really sharing that kind of thing, sharing books when people write, speakers, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was the thing that I just stayed with, and I've been in for decades. I really haven't, the industry has changed, but I have always stayed in the industry, and I've worked in all of them: radio, TV, print. Now it's podcasts. Now it's a whole lot of other different things.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So, so the kind of, it was natural and people kind of saw it. What did you like starting off, especially like if we're thinking like at that age from like from church on, what was it that connected well with you where you think that it was something that not only like you appreciated, but you were able to understand delivering the message? Because clearly, like people know, it's like you got a message, the sender, the receiver. What did you like?
I just remember in high school and even at church, younger before that, of just making sure that I was on the newspaper staff. So if I was on the newspaper staff, I would write feature stories, or I would go get the advertising, because we didn't have advertising, we wouldn't have a newspaper. So I always created different publications a lot of times to amplify voices of what other people had to say. I always believed in the written word. So I always said, we'll write it down and we'll put it together. So even in it casts. I started a newspaper and I started a club. Same thing in college. Started a club, started a newspaper. It was always geared towards Blacks, because we had to have a voice. So it was always just amplifying Black voices. So full circle moment is really this month of Speakers Magazine, which
Yeah.
Susan Taylor was on the
Yeah, I
cover.
got
month.
it as well.
I was reading her at 10 years old, roughly.
Mhm.
She's 80 years old now. And reading this magazine as a young child, it always gave me inspiration.
Mm.
It always just fed my soul. It was always something I looked forward to doing. And I would read it from a different lens of like, wow, I just love how she just shares the stories of other people in this magazine. And I wanted to do the same type of thing. I did it in high school. I did it in college. I did it as an adult, because this is going on 10 years. And that was just from an inspiration of seeing other Black women doing the same type of things. And I said to myself, I want to do that one day.
And I highlighted, in our archives, like Darylyn did the magazine, a lot of magazine work, Darylyn and many other writers, but
Darylyn Hudson.
yeah, Darylyn Hudson. Like it's been arcs of like different waves, but when we think of definitely Black media, the Johnson brand through the arc of Jet, Ebony, and Essence, and all kind of like different messages, all like connecting in different ways, played such a instrumental role throughout our community. During a time as magazines, and I'm a fan. I collect old magazines just
Me
to
too.
like capture thought processes and lenses of how things would be written, and kind of the sensibilities of where people stand. But Susan Taylor definitely stands as one of the definitive what would I say, like icon, but trailblazer, but like a standard during this transition, and more of I guess the Renaissance and the empowerment, and really the boldness being taken by women that have always really been anchors in our community, but stepping forward and moving the world, really. Let's be honest, like moving the world. So that definitely stands as like, even in the arc of where Johnson publications start to where they're at now, even creating right now. I think the Essence Festival stands as really an anchor of, I think, how a lot of people identify with Essence itself, but it starts from print.
It did. It started with print. Yeah, the Black press is powerful and still needed. Black press, Black radio, Black podcasters. People say, well, why do you still need it? I said, because we need to share our own voice. We have to create our own narrative, our own media, our own platform. That's just it.
So in this also, I guess I want to kind of, I like always like going back before, as forward, and Pastor Jordan is hilarious. He said, "You're gonna be PR for Jesus," but prayer is a different relationship. What has been the relationship? I guess, how did you develop your relationship building and working with clients? And the reason I ask, because I know it's probably people getting into this world thinking, and it can be very tough. I actually had a publicist reach out to me like last week saying like, I'm gonna send you some more people, but they gotta pay, because it can be difficult in the dynamic of this. The person on your team believes in you. They love what you do. So oftentimes it can be like, yo, if you really think I'm that good, you should do it for free. And the sad thing is, a lot of times people can support very talented artists and business people where they're not looking to get paid for their services. How did you grow into the business of it, knowing that, look, I love what you do, but this is my business now?
Right.
We talking
Yeah,
business.
I've never been a person that's been starstruck, like, oh, I'm just going to do it for free. It's just it's a talent. It's a gift. It's a skill. So just like if you have a legal problem, you're going to go to a lawyer. They know law. They went to school. They studied it. You're not going to ask them to do it for free. Go to a dentist. Okay, I know some friends that are dentists, but it's like, I'm not going to say, hey, can you hook me up? So it's just about respect, and really it's your profession. So I've never had people say, oh, you're a publicist, will you do it for free? No, this is what I do. I went to school for it. I studied it. I worked at WNIC. I worked at the Detroit Free Press. I worked at Christian Television Network. I've worked at a lot of different places and have a lot. And yes, I have a lot of people in my phone that I can call for give you publicity, but I'm not, that came with the price. So I tell people, I say, either I could teach you how to do it yourself, or you could pay me. So you got to pay one thing. You got to invest time or money. It ain't for free.
Hmm.
So that's one of the main things. You got to invest something. Either you invest time, meaning like I show you how to do it, or you pay me and I'll do it for you.
Mm.
The same thing.
I love the way you present it. Love it, and definitely where you add in the confidence. But it's so many people, I think, especially when we're dealing with, like, I guess that arc, I like you said, celebrity, because so many people can be starstruck.
I've never
One
been
of my
Unless it's Oprah.
one of
Unless
my
it's Oprah, then maybe.
uh,
But everybody else, I don't care.
like one of my attorney clients, he even said best, and it was so funny when he said this, that he was like, "Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the money I get is from people that know better, but they don't do better, and they end up in situations needing me to resolve this because, usually it's over like, all right, yeah,
They didn't put it in writing.
mhm. And
They didn't
it
put it in writing.
creates many opportunities where that definitely presents itself. So as you build that portfolio of like contracts and building your own practice, and also like still I'm guessing at times you're working with certain spaces but still like have your own practice. How do you build the contracts, your business suite, where it's like, look, this is what we doing. I got love for you. You're doing great things, but you're gonna be on target here.
Yeah. I mean, one of the main things people come refer. So I'm really clear about what I do. I help people promote, amplify, market their brands, but what type of people? It's really authors and speakers.
Hmm.
And typically, they're going to be African American authors and speakers.
Mhm.
So Speakers Magazine, they can come in through that door, or they can do PR, and I can put them on different types of shows, or we can do PR if they're nationwide, do a book tour of that sort of thing. So it just depends. So PamPerryPR.com, they usually, I've had people say, well, so how'd you find me? He says, I just Googled Black publicists and I came up. And that's from being around for a couple of decades. So they put in Black publicists that works with authors and speakers. That
Mhm.
is, if they're looking for that, then that's what I can help them with. Now, can I do hospitals? Can I do other things? Yeah, I can. There's other people who do crisis communications. I don't really do that.
Mhm.
But I have colleagues, my colleague Karen Dumas, she does that. She's good at crisis communication. So if she has an author or speaker, she'll refer them to me. If it's crisis communications, I refer them to her. So just being in your lane and really knowing what it is that you do is really the main reason why people will come to you, you know.
And now I gotta ask the next thing, and also love Karen. That's another one of my love Karen. But in defining in the path of like knowing, okay, this is where I'm at and getting the niche. So this is definitely, as I say, speaking to the person entering this field and looking how do they define it. When did it like crystallize that, okay, this is what I think it will be the
Something,
best space for me.
yeah, something that you won't get tired of. It's what you love.
Hmm.
So I've always loved books.
Hmm.
I mean, it would be a thing where I would spend my happy place is the library or the bookstore.
Okay.
And some people will go to a bookstore and they will buy books because they like. Sometimes I'll pick up a book and buy it because I feel like I can help that author. It's a
Wow.
really good book.
Hmm.
So you hear people say, well, some people buy ugly houses.
Yeah.
I would buy ugly books.
Hmm.
I literally would pick up a book sometime. I remember going to God's World and picking up like all those books of those local authors.
Hmm.
And I would pick up like maybe about 6 of them and I would read them. I said, these are really good. I said, but they are packaged and promoted so horrible. And I would call them and say, can I give you some advice? I read your book. I'm a publicist. And that would literally like be the thing that I would do just because that was just me.
Hmm.
And then I said, you know what? Let me just check this out. I'm going to dive in deeper in the PR world because I've done PR for like Dunkin' Donuts, Ford Motor Company, restaurants, all kind of stuff that I really didn't care about.
Yeah.
But then I said, I really care about these authors and speakers. So Les Brown, meeting him, full transparency, he changed my life. I was like, oh my God, he's amazing. I mean, obviously I like preachers, but he was not a preacher. He was just a regular speaker. And so I really got to know him well. And then learning about how to promote him was really one of the key things in my career. Met him in college. It was like, this is a thing. So authors and speakers is because that was the love. I knew that reading books changed my life and just what would happen if more people knew about these particular books or these authors.
Okay, that's deep, and on it, the other speakers I got is with
Yeah,
Mr. Les
yeah,
Brown.
yes.
So
He was on there in 2017. Yeah.
so for definitely for somebody younger and not connecting because time travels if you
He's
don't
like
know.
an ET.
Les Brown definitely throughout the
Well,
80s, I would say there are a couple of black speakers outside of the realm, obviously, of like where pastors would come, because definitely we're gonna get some religion. But I think you get a couple people that like enter the realm of a lot of this space and speaking. So you got George Frazier,
He's
who
been on
who
a couple.
really speaks to a lot in like business networking and what would happen. You got another George, he's a character, George Sabura, who had like a lot of books on like black business and like,
Yep.
yo, you need to get into entrepreneurship. And Les Brown really like becomes very foundational in and oftentimes black people do this all the time, like in like what has now, I guess, become more of a prominent field in like what becomes like motivational speaking and
Yeah.
personal development. Like he is I'm aging myself because I know a bunch of old folks, but he's like what Reverend Ike was for evangelists. He kind of becomes that for like the gateway of what becomes of this whole world of a lot of motivational speakers. And like at a time where talk shows need people to give content and everything, like he hits that lane for many people and defines something that like really at the time, I'm not saying like it didn't exist, but it definitely crystallizes it in the hearts and minds of many more.
hmm
Les Brown is definitely one of those voices, and connecting in that. So I just want to, I like to, so people kind of get an understanding of what it is. It'd almost be like like for my my people that do a lot of content online. It would be like you guys, the younger guys, it'd be like he was the East Side Ivo of the day for like Instagram or something, or Drewski or something. You know what I'm saying? Like early on in Catches a Wave, connecting to many people, and you get a relationship early on, like in watching the success of that.
Yeah.
As you watched, like as you look at and track the success and like the spaces and places in that observation, like how do you take notes and say like, okay, so these may end up being spaces and places for a potential client or where the work I do can be offered?
Yeah, I look at people from the standpoint of like, do they have the it factor?
Mm.
And so it's just a gift, and you could be talking, and I can see it, whether it's a book or hearing you speak, and I know that you have that it factor, meaning like you're a diamond in the rough, and I can help polish it up. It's just something that I have, and I see more for people than they probably see in themselves. And so I remember your godmom too. The same thing. Orthea. Before she was ever actually a preacher, and just
Okay.
meeting her and knowing her aura, just
Mhm.
how loving she was. And she had the club on 8 Mile. I remember seeing that. And I remember her doing a contest that my husband was in, and he actually won.
Okay.
But she was like the MC, and she was speaking. And I just told her at that time, I said, "Do you ever do any speaking?" This is obviously before she had the church, right? Before she was a preacher. She's had that club on 8 Mile. And she says, "Nah, not really. I'd sing and, do this." I said, "Well, you really have a way of motivating people." And so I just saw that. And so one of the things, obviously she was a minister, but she really had a way of just speaking, not just singing, because she obviously had that voice, but just really, God gifted her with the voice so people can hear her, what she had to share and say. And that was just all about love and just really empowerment and that sort of thing, lifting people up. I mean, you can't be around her and not be have been encouraged. That was her thing. Same thing with some people I see that sit on their gifts, and I kind of like a dream pusher. They have it in them, but they just need someone to help pull it out of it. And so that's one of the things of just being that publicist for someone. One, pushing them out of their comfort zone, or seeing things for them that they don't necessarily see for themselves yet. And so I may meet someone, and then I may see them, okay, maybe you want to be on Sherry Shepherd, or you may want to be on, Tamara Hall's show. but there's certain things that I know, steps that you have to do before you get there. And I just help them prepare that steps. One is shaping their brand, their messaging, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I take people to that point where they want to be, but there's little baby steps that they have to do in between. And I watch them develop. One of the worst things you could do is take someone who is not ready and put them on national TV, because then they would totally have a meltdown or either crash and burn.
Mm.
And so you don't want that. So you want them to really prepare for that, prepare for the success, and then also just prepare to make sure that they don't mess up. Okay, because it's unforgiving if you mess up on national TV. It's like, oh, okay, you ain't going nowhere else now.
I would say because of these devices, depending upon what level of celebrity you have, almost like you can't mess up anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's true.
But with that, you were so a couple questions that I got. One direct. Karen speaks to this often too. You know, when you get that platform and you got that stage, are you ready to welcome the opportunities that will be ready? So let me make this a little bit more plain to you business folks. If you go on, let's say, I don't even know,
CNN.
if you go on, I was going to say Mr. Beast. You know,
Okay.
if you go on Mr. Beast and you got a book about like, hey, this is the best esports game, and you got a website and you know that he gets 5 million views, and chances are you're probably going to end up with, let's just be lowball it, 250,000 people that hit your website. Do you have the type of website that could take on that type of traffic? If you had a website that can take on that type of traffic, do you have the money-making mechanism that can capture it? Or are you just like this adding on regular tools? So it's at times, and Karen more so speaks about this, which I think it definitely is true. Too much success and you're not prepared for it can be more of a problem. Like even if you have a hot restaurant and, you know, everybody wants to go, you know, that long line, it's like, okay, I'll wait this long for that chicken sandwich now, maybe tomorrow. But then at that point, it's like, you know what, I'm going to the alternative.
You
That's
have
why
to be ready.
Burger King is across the street from McDonald's for a reason, because McDonald's does all the research and stuff, and Burger King's just like, hey, we gonna be across the street. You know, they want to go to McDonald's, but they'll end up coming to us. You know, and the readiness. And at times, you know, people can't even really assess if they're ready.
Right. You have to leverage it. So when you get PR, it is a traffic builder. It is obviously giving you visibility, credibility, but it is a traffic builder. So think of it as a lead generation. So everybody that comes to your website may not necessarily buy, but is there a way for you to know who came to the website by offering something? So building your own email list. And I really teach that as well. So PR is a thing that you want, but you have to leverage it so that it makes sense for your, you know, ROI, your return on investment. So what are you selling? So a lot of people use PR because ego. It feels good. It get the dopamine hits, and you know everybody claps and applause, and then they go home and they broke it. It's like, but you didn't leverage it. You didn't have a business. You just wanted to be seen. It's like I tell people, I said, you know, you could be on a New York Times billboard, and it can run all day, and it's your picture. So what's it gonna do? You ain't got no website. It's no reason for it to be there. It's just applause. And I tell people a lot of times, I am your publicist. And if you want to just have publicity just for your ego or just for validation, I am not your therapist. So I'll say that again. I'm your publicist and not your therapist. So if you just want PR for validation, think of something else to get validated from, because PR is a business strategy. It really is. It's a business strategy. That's it in the bottom line.
Yeah,
so you have to have the systems for it in order to leverage it.
And I guess also another arc of it, as you say, that definitely free press or newspaper, magazines, television, radio, podcasts,
and online.
Like it's gone many arcs. A lot of times people don't like going into new spaces because, you know, you're going to be uncomfortable in a new space. What has it been about you that's been more open to getting into new spaces?
I'm gonna push the buttons. I am. I'm just curious. I'm just really curious. So if it's Blavity, if it's the Root, if the Griot, it's the Metamor. I mean, I love those. I was like, this is like a newspaper. I was blogging early 2000s. That was just like, okay, so this could be my magazine. It's just, I'm just curious. So I'm gonna push the buttons. I'm on Substack right now, live. Hey there. That's relatively new. It is the first thing that I was ever on was MySpace. I learned how to HTML code because you know how you have your own little thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I did
You
that.
wanted a background.
I
and
wanted my own
everything. Yep.
background and all that kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
that was just a way to connect, and I would teach my authors and speakers that they needed to connect through these different platforms. A lot of them come and go. Remember Vine and
Yeah.
Meerkat and Periscope, a lot, but still try them
Mhm.
because basically over time, a lot of them are doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm.
I remember I was so in love with Google Plus. That's
Mhm.
gone. I mean, it's just different ones, but you roll with it. But the main thing is to always own your own platform, your own email list in case everything goes down. And you talked about websites. I tell people, I said, you want $1 million business, but you're trying to do it on a free website. I said, that's not going to work. You need like a WordPress or something that will grow as you grow. It's
Mhm.
okay to start free, but don't stay free when you're doing these tools. You have to pay for some things if you want people to invest in you. So I kind of do a little bit of business coaching
Mm.
as well as doing the publicity for people because it's important. Because like I said, marketing has a spoke of different wheels. It could be the
Mhm.
advertising, it can be the publicity. So it's all part of a tool to sell something.
Mhm.
That is really key. Speaking is really a part of PR because people build trust with you when they see you and hear you. So
Mm.
I teach people that they use the stage in order to promote themselves, not to necessarily sell, but for people to build that trust with you.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the experience or expertise. I got an undergrad and grad degree in marketing, but when people ask me questions about podcasting and really the whole suite of it, and like I tell people, let's see, we're gonna keep it clean, but a lot of people in this industry, I think, it can definitely be full of smoke in a lot of ways. The challenge is it's definitely necessary if you're looking to propel wherever you want to go in your business. And the other thing, like when it comes to even like podcasting or interviews or a lot of different things like that, um, it's like agency to something because oftentimes what I say like a soft sell, like you're getting to know who the person is or who the business is, especially in this era of social media. We want to feel personable about who we're interacting with, who we're supporting, how we're connecting, and that can help in the business. So like it may not necessarily be as direct as like, yo, sell, sell, sell. I'm just trying to keep selling and keep selling and keep selling. But that will create it'll create supporters that will follow you and travel with you through whatever journey you're going on when you have places and spaces for business to be presented.
And one of the things I like about podcast, Kari, is what you do is that you have people on for a while.
Mhm.
So I may book a client on TV shows and they're on for 5 minutes to 10 minutes at the max. A podcast is a good BS detector because you're on for 30 minutes or so. You
Mhm.
can kind of BS your way through 5 or 10 minutes. You cannot BS your way through like 30 minutes because people, and that's why people like podcasts because they get to know the person. They're in their ear. They get to watch them and see them in real time. So yeah, it's different. Trust is the main thing that people are trying to build, and trust is the main thing that people want to have if they're going to spend money with you.
And similar to like you say, like in waves of things. It was an interview with Denzel Washington during the press run for Highest to Lowest, I remember. And things change in waves. So like as when I'm, years ago when I was younger, it would sometimes be like a mystique of whoever like the celebrity is. Like and almost like in the less you know about who this person is, almost it's like the scarcity raises the value of the person. Whereas now in like this social media reality television world, it's almost the opposite.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, as I was looking at Spike Lee and Denzel on the press run for Highest to Lowest, and I mean I saw the film and I'm looking at some of the interviews. I'm like, they've never really been in this space. And I'm not necessarily saying like these are bad interviews or whatever, but this is something where like in my mind of like years ago, a Denzel would probably do like one interview with Brian Gumbel on the Today Show, and that would be it, and it'd be phenomenal. But in this space of like, I'm going to go to possibly like 25 podcasts, this is where someone of the charisma of a Jamie Foxx is like way more of a engaging personality. So like it's even different waves. And hence, if you have the right Pam Perry person on your team to know, all right, this is the strength, this is the weakness. We got to kind of go in this space that you're not going to be as comfortable, but it's a way we can enter this space where it works.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that strategy and all of that vision, it really takes a lot of thought process. I've also uplifted on this podcast before, like my homie that's he's one of the programming directors at one of the hip hop stations in Atlanta. And I was telling like even the guys on my team during one of it was, the EVOL album that Future came out with after I guess he like breaks up with Steve Harvey's daughter or whatever. But the team is like, it was like 6 people from Harvard, like 4 of them white, 2 black people, and they took over the top suite of this radio station for like 9 hours, where they were all focusing on what would be the next 6 text messages from Future. And I tell my friend, I'm like, this stuff is very you'd be surprised the amount of analytics that go into stuff. So you're sitting and you're looking at Future's post where his like, it shows his hand, it kind of shows a watch. You see like this color purple and this color blue, and you thinking, oh, that's cool. It's like they've incepted that thought process in you because you'd be surprised the exhaustive measures that are going into these posts.
Yeah. And then AI has just made it even more challenging.
Much more challenging. I was at, you called me yesterday, I was at the game, but I've already seen like it's somebody that like has an incident where Cade Cunningham is punched by one of the Spurs players. I'm like, that did not happen at the game.
You don't know what's real.
Don't know what's real.
That's why trust is important. You got to know who to trust.
Trust, but also where you can be creative with it. It's all about what brand you have, how you have it, how you connect it, and where things intersect. And which kind of brings me to, as we get to a close, the other question I have as comedian Ada Rodriguez was kind of saying this in comedy, but there are definitely new spaces and places because platforms and everything, but obviously new entrants into this space of what I call like the marketing suite now. Mm-hmm. What has been your advice for some of the people entering this space? And how to what's the polite way of saying this? How what advice do you give them for them to like kind of stay on the pivot? Because sometimes definitely it can be a little bit overconfident and brazen about how things function, and just like that, TikTok ain't even monetize no more or something. Like what's your advice for like some of the younger folks that are in this space to stay grounded and continue on?
Get a mentor. Just like you were saying, you had Helen or whatever. Have a mentor, someone who will keep you grounded, that will see things that down the line that you may not even realize is something that you didn't know. All right. So have a mentor, and really, when I say have a mentor, not a mentor like how much that mentor can give you, but some things are taught and some things are caught. So just hang around the mentor and just catch some of the things of how they move, because sometimes you're just starting out in something, you don't even know how stuff moves. So just wait. Not everything is immediate, and just take your time. Just wait. I really do think that, because people think, oh, I went viral on TikTok. And it's like, you know what? That is not going to be sustainable. Get a mentor, someone who is at least 10, maybe 15 years ahead of you, that can really show you how to have longevity in the game.
And in that, I think this is a really good space, especially from damn near like definitely in this suite, but a lot of women, but there are a lot of women in this space. And we're kind of in that, like I say, it's like kind of like the reality space of like what's real, what's not real. It could be like, you got it's like, hey, I got, pro basketball player, pro football player. I'm representing them now. They invite me to the party. They want me to come, and then they doing the after party, and I can get some other clips and everything. How do you establish? Yeah, I bring this up. My dad, love my dad for this one. How do you keep the dynamics of a relationship in the professional space, as we're now in a world where almost everything needs to be documented?
Hmm. So you do need to keep it professional. You're saying, like, how do you make sure that, I mean, your clients, you do like your clients, but they're not your friends.
Mm.
So there's, I saw this the other day on American Top Model, that the Netflix
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that soon.
and she said,
Yeah.
there are no sacred cows, meaning,
Mm.
like, at a certain point in time, all those folks were fired, including Tyra.
Yeah.
So you just know that, yeah, they like you, but they could also fire you.
Mm.
There's no sacred cows. They ain't your
Mm.
friends. They ain't your
Mm.
family. They are your clients. And so at the end of the day, it's about business.
Mm.
That's really it. And so just know that. And for women especially, know that it's not personal. It's
It,
business.
as you even share that, I love you sharing it in that lens, because, like I say, because it can be such a
Yeah.
mix of things. Like, even me, I'm a, you know what I'm saying? I've learned over time, definitely in music, but even outside of music, because I've been caught up in that whirlwind of, what's one of the better examples? I remember, years ago, it was like a hip hop summit that was in Detroit. Mayor Kilpatrick was like, hey, we're going to do this hip hop summit, and Russell Simmons is here, and I'm invited to, like, I walk into this space, and even me included, it's like, damn, there go Russell Simmons, and then there go DOC. I love the DOC. And then it's like, okay, there's Lloyd Banks and 50 Cent and all of these people. And it's like, okay, after this, we're going to go over here. And then after this, we're going to go over here. And after this, we're going to go over here. And I'm traveling, like, by the time I get to, like, the fourth place, I'm like, all right, one second, time out. I'm not getting anything done. I almost feel like I don't even necessarily know how much I'm even in this entourage, because, like, if I'm not close enough, you know what I'm saying? They may be like, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm, like, in a whirlwind during this time. What started at I don't know what they call it now, but what started at the International Marketplace, I still think that's, like, the top of Fishbones, or I don't know, 500 Monroe, and we're, like, to 3 other locations, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to step in. I had a place to step in, and I keep, it seems like my point of contact keep kicking the can, where I'm not even about to get the moment that I wanted to record at the time, which was more audio device.
Right.
I was in the world.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can look like the world of PR and media is glamorous, but it's work at the end of the day.
Mm.
And a lot of times, some people get into PR because they are clout chasing.
Mm.
They want to be a star, but maybe they can't be a star. They said, well, I'll just be around a star.
Yeah.
So I've never been like that, because my background was in journalism, marketing, public relations. It's a business. It's a skill. It's what you do. So if you're getting in it because of the quote unquote the famous people or whatever, you're going to be disappointed, because you're going to be like the odd man out always. Either you're going to be the star and be that person that's on the stage, or you're that person that want to be a star or be around a star. And I'd rather be the dream pusher, the person that has the star maker, the person who has a real talent, someone who can sing or write or whatever it is, and then help them navigate that so that they can actually be everything that they need to be in that area, in that industry. So you got to be clear about why you're doing what you're doing, and younger people, I guess, can kind of get caught up in. I think about my daughter in a way, she's like, oh, I would love to work for, whatever, the Kardashians or what. I'm like, yeah, I guess you would. But, like, what are you bringing? What is your gift that you're bringing to that? And if it's something else, then you can also do it for another person. It's the skill and the gift that you have, not necessarily the person or the personality. Because, again, they can look at you one day and say, get out of here. I'm going to hire somebody else. And then you feel bad.
And another lesson, shout out my dad. It's like so many dad's lessons. business, but also kind of in that same dynamics of the relationship. It's been so many times where, and this is a tough one, especially this is a really tough one, but I've seen it happen too many times. So you dedicate yourself, you do it pro bono or at extremely discounted rate. You get whoever that is to the point where they're at, and now they have a real budget and they don't hire you. And you think, damn, I was with them the whole time and now they got a real budget. They got the real budget. Why can't they hire me? Because the thought process is still back to that scarcity mindset. It's like, now that I got a budget, let me find out what's behind this other door of the person that wouldn't do it for free or do it for the extremely lower budget. And I know the person watching right now is thinking to themselves, this don't make no sense. It really sometimes does not. But it gets to a certain point. The first person you're calling is that person where it's like, damn, I couldn't even get access to that. So this is already probably on a more professional landing. Another example I often give, rappers love to say, man, I ain't never go to college and blah, 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 blah. And I always go back to, I say, okay, I hear you, 50 Cent or Snoop or whoever. All right. Managing your money. Do you trust the CPA that didn't go to, do you trust the accountant that didn't go to college? Do you trust that lawyer that didn't go to college? They'll proudly say and really uplift the institutions more than people at the institution. They'll say, well, my accountant went to Harvard. My lawyer went to Harvard. So it's like you clearly honor these institutions. You just are saying that, I think I can be successful without it. But when I spend my money that I got from success, I'm going to them because I feel like they will protect it, which I'm not necessarily saying they will or they won't, but that often happens that when people get the money, they're going to go to the option that they didn't have.
That's true. Yeah, and it's the same thing with if you are a person that has the skill, has the talent, you're the creative, you want people around you that know those other parts, the business part, because you're the creative. And so you got to just be careful too. That's why I said you should always have mentors, people that will kind of like have your back or just see things down the road for you, for sure. For sure.
All right. So with that, as we get closer to a close, the first thing I want to say is multiple options. Always. How do people connect with you if they're interested? If they just want to find out more, if they want to follow your podcast, if they want to get one of the magazines, how do they connect?
So they can find everything all at one thing. My name, PamPerryPR.com. PamPerryPR.com. They'll find my podcast there. They'll find the magazine there. I have a community called Ready, Set, Go, Speak to help people get ready, set to go and speak on stages and speak on the media.
Okay.
So they can go there, PamPerryPR.com. And really when they go there too, they scroll down to the bottom and I'll give them like a free kit on the 7 things that the media looks for. Because people think like, oh, I should get on the media. Well, these are the 7 things they look for. If you got all 7, you have a pretty good chance. If you're missing some, not so much. So yeah, they can go there as well.
See, that shows you the skill set. Already gave the tease of that is what we call promotion.
That's what I do.
There you go. See, professional, constant.
And I got my own microphone.
Yeah, see, all of it.
And my name is on it.
All of it.
There you go.
All of it. She ain't repping another stationery. There we go. I love it.
Kari, thank you.
Okay, so with that, and it's always hard to predict, especially like in the arc of a lot of stuff happening in media these days and like how people connect to it. What do you see? What do you foresee more so? What perspective do you think a lot of the authors and speakers right now should be thinking
owning their own platform, really getting more into streaming, if they have an online hub. I like the Black lady that just bought The Root. I can't think of her name, but she just bought The Root, back because it was Black owned, then it got white owned, now it's Black owned again. Blavity, I like what Morgan's doing over there. I mean, you got Ebony still there. Black Enterprise doing a lot of video, audio streaming. So it's really becoming experiential for a lot of the platforms. And so author and speaker needs to know how to maneuver video, how to put on events, become more experiential in terms of giving people experiences. People aren't like, oh, I just want to read a book. No, they want to experience other things as well. You want to have retreats, you want to have workshops, you want to stream it live, you want to write. I mean, you're a content creator, so put your content everywhere. Publish everything everywhere
Okay.
and learn how to do that well.
Okay.
Well, not with just Chat GPT, but learn how to do it well.
I definitely I think that is only gonna help you because the more you got access to what you do,
The more people will trust you.
more people will trust you. And just from I've shared with some people, but last year, 2025, my YouTube and my Facebook were hacked. I haven't got back Facebook because Meta is just difficult connecting with them. Got back my YouTube, but it goes back to like, do I control the distribution point? So now like exploring some other options.
Yeah, Roku, Apple
Where things
TV,
go.
Amazon Fire. I mean, yeah, those are
Mhm.
different platforms you could use. Roku is one as well, but yeah,
Yes.
we got to back our stuff up and put it on a hard drive.
Yeah,
Okay,
that too, because often if we're sharing in these spaces and platforms,
we think
if
that
we don't
it's
control them,
Yeah.
I mean, like many authors, I know, like what was it, more so like maybe 10 years ago, the amount of the percentages that you get as an author sharing, selling books on Amazon
Oh,
were
yes.
way better than like something happened overnight and they're like, nope, not anymore. So back to like, if you don't control the distribution channel and the chain, and that's part of your key business model, it's like
That's true.
it's a vulnerability. Let me just share that with you.
Yeah,
So
that is
definitely.
true. That is so true.
All right, so classic Detroit is different questions. First one. First car, year, make, and model, year you got it.
Maverick,
Okay.
Ford,
Okay.
green.
All right.
I don't know what year it was.
Okay. Where's the first place you went when you got it?
Probably to work.
Okay.
I guess probably to work. The
Okay.
Rensin.
All right. That was what we say? That was an enterprising move. A professional with the first ride.
Right.
I got you. It's like no more bus.
Right.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, you're the DJ at the end of the Detroit fireworks, Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What songs you playing?
I'm going to play Frankie Beverly. What's his song? Is Time to Go or what?
Okay. Okay, so it's like Before I Let You Go.
Before I Let You Go.
Okay. I love it. And
That's the end, right?
it is hey, I'm with it. So that's one. What's the other one?
Beyonce.
Okay, the Beyonce version of it is like the double version.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
like
double version.
back to
right,
back.
Right.
So it's gonna be like so it starts with Frankie Beverly and everybody dancing, and then Beyonce come on and everybody above 40 gonna be like, "What are you doing? Classic hit.
Right.
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then,
She tried to make it better, but
I
yeah.
know how it's like how some of Americans, I heard that country album was like, "What is she doing to Jolene?
Oh,
She doing to Jolene."
she is.
Yeah. Shout out to Beyonce. I really think she's the closest example of a pop superstar
I
from what
know.
I remember in
And this
today's
is
era.
This is the thing, because I used to go to concerts all the time. But when I went to the Renaissance tour, I saw it over there. Was it Joe Louis? Wherever I was, downtown somewhere.
Yep.
And I had on silver,
Mm.
because it was Renaissance. But when I tell you the whole place, everybody dressed like they were like everybody got the memo that you go to a concert and dress like the star. I was like amazed. It was crazy. So I could imagine Cowboy Carter. That was the same thing.
Yeah,
Everybody came in cowboy.
yeah.
So this is a thing now. Like,
Uh,
I used to go to Janet Jackson and dress like her. I mean, I have like a little earring on or whatever, or Michael Jackson. It's, inspired. But like Beyonce would make everybody just all out. I mean, it was.
I can
It was
imagine.
crazy.
Though I actually got it in reference of a song. I remember 1987, Prince, Joe Louis
Oh,
Arena. All my
Purple?
cousins had on purple.
Purple. I did too. Okay,
Everything.
I did too. Okay, so
Everything.
that one I did do that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we did do that.
So
Okay,
yes,
so yeah,
I remember. I did not go to the concert.
Yeah,
but
so it was. We were all
I'm
in
there,
purple,
and they took the pictures,
and we were all in purple.
and I was like,
Purple
"Wow,
rain.
what are
Yeah,
they
of
wearing
course.
purple for?" You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
that's
You know,
it.
it's
That's
like,
it. That's true.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
it's a whole nother level now.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, like one of my staff members was like, because it was like a couple days before we were like, we had some shoot at the music hall, like a couple days before Taylor Swift was gonna be at Ford Field. And she was like, "Oh, Taylor Swift's coming." I was like, "I can't name a Taylor Swift song for nothing." But, it's like, oh, yeah, if you wants to be a millionaire, you call me for that one, it's going to be, you will not make your money. Because, I mean, I just,
Yeah. I know.
that's where it is. So the last one, you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
Can we do Coleman Young?
He is the most
I think
named Detroiter.
He already has a street, though, doesn't he?
Let's see. Does he
Yeah.
have a street?
He has a street already.
I'm sure he has to have like a secondary street.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah. I mean, he's the most
Yeah.
named Detroiter.
Yeah.
But for you, why?
He was Detroit. I mean, for a long time, you're from Detroit, and so Coleman Young was Detroit for me. So Coleman Young put in the black police officers, black head of the schools, black fire, black everything. So he went through systematically and put black people in charge.
Yeah.
Now, this is a time when I'm young, and so I grew up thinking black people should be in charge. So that was like my normal growing up, that we are running things.
Yep.
And I grew up that way. So if I went to another city and it was like, y'all don't have this here, like, what's going on? I mean, so he really shaped the mindset of probably so many black people growing up during that time, because we saw people running things.
We saw people running things, and then the people running things were these are great people running things. Often also opened a lot of doors for women. Almost like another like godmother, but like opening the opening of the Renaissance Club in the Renaissance Center. It's like, yo, we're putting Judge Claudia Morcom's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna we giving to Cobo Hall. Dolores Bennett's gonna be doing her Christmas drive over here at Cobo Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That was more of a Dolores Bennett telling them it would happen like that. But that's back to like the relationships that stand and exist in those same opportunities. Very much. I mean, even the Detroit Athletic Club. Like a lot of. Sometimes like he gets painted as like this crazy black man, but like it's crazy that you got a majority black city and you have like this athletic club that's like black people can't come here. And it's like, if I'm mayor,
everybody else should be too.
Yeah, you got that right. It's like, you mean to tell me it's a club in my city named after my city and I can't be a member?
Yeah.
Rules change. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like, as I say, he definitely has some very colorful and creative responses at times, but usually he's responding to something that's just as preposterous and bombastic in the first place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
With that, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kari.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And also, it was like a celebration connected today, so it's been like a whole family day. I love it. Thank you. Peace.
Detroit. Detroit.